When things in your life seem almost too much to handle, when 24 hours in a day are not enough, remember the mayonnaise jar and the 2 cups of coffee. Hello, people out there, and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Seek Your Purpose. And this is your host for the show, Mayank Sarah. First of all, let me all wish you a very happy new year 2024. I trust that this year will bring all your deep-hearted desires and wishes true, and may we all prosper in this year the way we have done over the past few years. So a very happy new year, guys, from me to everyone out there. So in this episode, I want to share an amazing life lesson, a story that I came across today when a friend of mine shared an inspiring reel on Instagram. The story was deep and it shared an amazing life-changing lesson which I felt a desire, a need to share with you all in this episode. The first episode of 2024 couldn't get any better than this. I'll definitely share the link of that Instagram video in the description box for your reference, but till then, listen to the story and feel the changing vibes within. Here we go. When things in your life seem almost too much to handle, when 24 hours in a day are not enough, remember the mayonnaise jar and the 2 cups of coffee. A professor stood before his philosophy class and had some items in front of him. When the class began, he wordlessly picked up a large glass, a large empty mayonnaise jar, and proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They all agreed that it was. The professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly, the pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They all agreed, yes it is. The professor next picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He asked once more if the jar was full. The student responded with a unanimous, yes, the jar is full. The professor then produced 2 cups of coffee from under the table and poured the entire content into the jar effectively, filling the empty spaces between the sand. The students laughed. Now, said the professor as the laughter subsided, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things, your family, your children, your health, your friends, your favorite passion. And if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. Which means those things that you cannot trade with anything else, anywhere. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, your car, your materialistic goals, your experiential goals and stuff like that. And the sand is everything else, the small stuff. Now, if you put the sand into the jar first, there is no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you'll never have room for the things that are really, truly important to you. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your life, your happiness. Play with your children, spend time with your parents, take your spouse out to a dinner. Self-love, take yourself out on a cup of coffee. Play another 18. Take time to get medical checkups. There will always be time to clean the house and fix the vacuum cleaner, pay the bills. But take care of the golf balls first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. Life is not a dress rehearsal, my friend. The rest is just a sand. So one of the students raised her hand and inquired what the coffee represented. Sir, the professor smiled and said, I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always a room for a cup of coffee with your friend. The entire story was all about setting priorities in your life. We get so much involved, puzzled and hurried up in our life that we believe multitasking is the key. And while doing so, we start checking things off our to-do list one by one, but fail to address the golf balls, the things that duly matter to us, the ones that can't be traded for anything else in the world. Not just giving least priority to them, we procrastinate them like a pro. I don't have time to exercise, I'm getting late for office, I have to reach on time. I can't play with you, son, I have an important presentation tomorrow. Can we schedule the date for next week? I have an important conference to attend the same day. I'll opt for this retreat some other time. I have to submit this assignment on time. Set your priorities on time. You have to manage and give space to each of them in your life. But allow the golf balls first to space in, followed by the pebbles, and then some space for the sand. Because you never know. So one day or day one, you decide. Take care. Cheers. So that's what I've got for you in today's episode. An episode which was duly created with love, hope, faith, passion, compassion, and a sense of gentle reminder to tap on. So if you feel connected with my perspective at any point of time, then drop in your comments on the podcast app you're listening to. You can even drop me a mail at officialseekyourpurpose@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram, Facebook or LinkedIn at MAYANKSEHRA. That is Mayank Sara. So I'll be looking forward to your messages. So hey self, happy 30s. So let's create a life which we're extremely proud of creating, living, and thus giving it back to the society in the most genuine way. Cheers. I'll see you in the next episode.